You are Locked On Warriors Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Warriors Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E. Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR, or maybe from some of these other post-game shows we do for the Locked On Sports Network. We also do the Locked On Giants Postcast and the Locked On 49ers Postcast. But today, Golden State Warriors could not pull it out in overtime. Dramatic thriller against the Los Angeles Clippers, falling 124 to 119. And the Warriors had a few opportunities to put this one away, just couldn't do it. Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler combined for just a ton of points tonight, but it was just too much Harden, too much Kawhi Leonard, too much Zubac down low, and those three really carried the Los Angeles Clippers to a win and to a spot in the NBA playoffs. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors are now headed for the play-in tournament, exactly what we hope to avoid, but they will be having all of these games at Chase Center. They'll have 3 shots at it. First one coming on Tuesday against the Grizzlies at Chase. We'll break it all down. But first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, 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 if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. And thanks also for listening on the Locked On Warriors podcast feed. However you're tuning in, we appreciate you checking the show out. Make sure to check out the Locked On Warriors Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. And man, the Warriors really had a shot at this one. Let's just go right to that fourth quarter, because going down the stretch, it was just back and forth. And it just seemed like Steph was heating up. Steph was starting to take over a little bit, but Kawhi Leonard was making shot after shot. James Harden was making shot after shot. Zubac making just every single putback, grabbing every single board, having all these easy buckets inside, just because the Warriors are just not big enough to stop a guy like that on the interior. When you have that lineup where Draymond Green is playing the 5, this is the kind of thing that you're giving up, and that is unfortunate for the Warriors. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think they should have made a different move down the stretch. It's easy to say throw Quentin Post in there and get some size, but I don't think that it's as simple as that. I don't think that that's the solution necessarily, because Post isn't really going to be able to push around Zubac on the post. I mean, he's not thick enough to do damage to a guy like that down there. He's got the height, but he does not have the girth to take on some of these legit NBA 7-footers that are just super strong, and Quentin Post just isn't quite there yet defensively. But down the stretch, man, Draymond Green had an opportunity to put this one away and just couldn't do it there in that fourth quarter. He went up for that layup, and it looked like he was trying to draw the foul rather than just go up for the layup, just go up and make the shot, and instead misses it. And it just really, really, really put the Warriors in a bad spot. That was in the overtime. I think I said fourth quarter. Let me correct myself. That was in overtime with about 26 seconds to go. He tried to jump into Kawhi Leonard, and all he had to do was go straight up with it. And that's an easy 2 points for the Warriors. It would have tied the game at 121 apiece, and it would have really changed how this one shook out. And so that was a huge play. But for our turning point, it happened just 36 seconds before then, tonight's turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
And the turning point for me came with about 50 seconds left in overtime. Jimmy Butler makes this layup, and he gets fouled on the play. They call a foul on the floor. You can see Dunn's hand clearly on Jimmy Butler's hip, pushing him while he's in the air. And they go to replay review, and they overturn it on the Clippers coach's challenge. And I just do not understand for the life of me. There's no consistency in NBA foul calls. And I'm not going to blame this loss on the fouls. You could have won this game numerous different ways. But this was a huge turning point in the game for the Warriors, because after Jimmy makes that layup, it's 119 to 121. Jimmy goes to the line and gets a free throw. He's probably going to make it based on the way Jimmy's been knocking these free throws down since he's been a Warrior. And you're trimming this game to a 1-point lead for the Clippers, and it puts a little bit more heat on the Clippers. Then Kawhi ends up making only one of his 2 free throws. This game would have been a 2-point game instead of a 3-point game. And then you have a situation where you're able to go get any shot that's available to you on the floor. You just hunt a good shot. Instead, the Warriors' final possession essentially is a Buddy Hield just a prayer from Buddy Hield from the wing. And man, that was just one of the worst shots that they could have got in that situation. That's not the guy who I want taking that shot. For Steph to not be able to get the ball and take that shot, or for Jimmy to not even be an option because they were looking specifically for a three-point shot, it's just not what you want there at the end of the game. You want to be able to get one of your superstars taking that last shot, not Buddy Hield. And I know Buddy's made 200 threes this year. I'm not going to sit here and rip Buddy for missing that, because it was a hell of a shot. If he made it, that would have been absolutely insane. But I mean, you really want one of your two guys who's over 30 points in the game taking that final shot. You want Jimmy or Steph. But since it was a three, you had to have that kind of took Jimmy out of the equation, and you knew they were going to just blanket Steph on the inbound. So it had to be somebody else who was willing to take that shot. I also honestly probably would have liked to see Podziemski get an opportunity to take that three instead of Buddy. Pods was 2 of 4 today from three. Buddy was 2 of 6. It's not really that you're splitting hairs here, because, neither one has really been, the most reliable three-point shooter throughout the stretch of this season. But the way Podziemski's been playing, the big shots that he's been making lately, I would have liked to see him get a chance at that final shot. But the Warriors just needed to get the ball in. That inbound clock was ticking away in that final Warriors possession with about 6 seconds left. So just a very frustrating situation, a very, very frustrating way to lose. And I can't help but sit here and think how just painful, how much more painful that Spurs loss becomes, how awful that Harrison Barnes game winner three was. It just had to be Harrison Barnes essentially putting the Warriors down into the play-in tournament. And that is absolutely aggravating. It is frustrating, but hey, the Warriors head into the play-in tournament. They'll be the 7th seed, and they'll be facing the Memphis Grizzlies on Tuesday at Chase Center. So you've played the Grizzlies really well this year. You have an opportunity to send them packing, send them home. And that's been a fun little rivalry the last few years with the Warriors kind of, being the big brother to the Memphis Grizzlies' little brother. Would only be better if Taylor Jenkins was still there, so the Warriors could send that big old softy home packing as well. So I'm just glad that the Warriors are going to have some kind of postseason activity. We'll say that in air quotes because it is the play-in and not the playoffs. But I am expecting the Warriors to get out of this play-in tournament. They have the best opportunity of any team in the play-in to get it done and make the playoffs. So the Warriors are going to have opportunity, and I think they'll get it done. But man, you would have loved to see them be able to snag the 6th seed. And if you got that win against the Spurs, you would be in that 6th seed right now. Instead, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves who take that spot, and the Clippers finish 5th in the NBA's Western Conference, and the Nuggets 4th, the Lakers 3rd, Rockets 2nd, and of course the Oklahoma City Thunder take that 1 seed. The Warriors, just a frustrating way to kind of end the season. They don't have as much momentum going into the playoffs as you would like them to have. Maybe they can find something in this play-in tournament. Gives you an opportunity to get on the right foot going into the playoffs, and maybe you'll get it done there. But man, I was really hoping for a Warriors-Lakers first-round matchup. I thought that would have been juicy, to say the least. I mean, you get the Warriors and another Steph versus LeBron matchup in the postseason. I think that's exactly what fans want to see, and I think that's exactly, honestly, what the NBA and Adam Silver want to see as well at some point in this playoffs. We'll see if that can still happen going forward. But man, tonight's loss, just so frustrating for a number of reasons. We'll get into those reasons next here on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. Basketball and hockey playoffs are heating up. There's no better way to turn your sports knowledge into real rewards than with PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. With PrizePicks, you simply pick more or less on at least 2 player projections and you're in. You can even combine players across sports, basketball, hockey, baseball, and more for your chance to win up to 2,000 times your cash. And that's exactly what I did going into this game, man. I took Patty Pimblett, Patty the Batty. I took the more than on his significant strikes landed last night, which we got. That was a win. Then I combined that with a Draymond more than half a steal, a Jimmy more than half a single steal. Both of them hit that as well today. But then we also threw in a Kuminga, more than 3.5 rebounds, man. Kuminga then just doesn't even play today. It's just how it goes sometimes, man. That's how these things go. But we'll be right back at it with the Warriors in the play-in tournament. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Today's show is also sponsored by WayFair. Spring is here, and that means it's home project season. Whether you're refreshing a room or tackling a full renovation, WayFair is the best kept secret for all things home improvement. From small updates like stylish cabinet hardware to major upgrades like new vanities, sinks, or outdoor lighting, WayFair has quality products for every single budget. And honestly, I have a couple different pieces from WayFair around my apartment here in San Francisco. It's kind of hard to find a nice furniture that is still like small enough to fit into an apartment. And let me tell you, Wayfair has some great options. I got a nice little corner table from them. It took me like 2 minutes to set it up and it looks fantastic. I got a couple other pieces from them, but they are really whatever you need, big or small, they got it. Shopping was seamless. Found exactly what I was looking for to fit my space and my style. And I love that they have top brands like GE and Moen at great prices. And of course, their free and fast shipping made it so easy. No hauling heavy items back from the store. Wayfair makes home improvement easy. Get started now at wayfair.com. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. And today's show is also sponsored by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 back in bonus bets if your first bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into some player props. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel just has so many ways to bet on your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and tonight the Warriors couldn't get it done against the Clippers. An overtime thriller, but on the wrong end of it. 124-119 is your final score from Chase Center. And the Warriors, man, just too small down low. And that's what my guy Jesus, you and I are on the same page, man. Warriors are just too small down low. They need a physical center who can score, says Jesus. And my guy, I'm right there with you. That's exactly why the Warriors lost this game, but not necessarily the scoring aspect of it. I think they have enough offense. You need the big guy down low to grab some damn rebounds. The Warriors lost the rebounding battle tonight 25-42. I mean, the Clippers pull in almost 20 more rebounds than the Warriors did. 9 offensive boards for the Clippers. And that's just something that you can't come back from in a game like this with the margins that are this close. And the second chance points, man, Clippers beat up the Warriors 14-6. So with that, I mean, that's all because Zubac is just a massive body down there, and the Warriors need to use at least 2 guys to box him out and wall him off. And obviously, if you're using 2 bodies on that one, you got a free guy somewhere out there on the Clippers to go and haul in a rebound. But Zubac had so many rebounds tonight. This man, 17 boards. He also had 22 points. He was still filling it up down there. So you want the big man to play some defense down there. That is what the Warriors have been missing ever since Andrew Bogut. And let's even throw Festus Ezeli in the mix. He was a pretty solid defender down low too. Of course, you still got Kevon Looney, but they just need a bigger body down there to pair with Loon. You absolutely got to address this in the offseason if you're the Warriors. And that's a little ways away to think about right now. I mean, you have a lot more things to focus on before we get to that point. But man, I'm so tired of the same thing over and over and over again, just ruining the Warriors' playoff chances. And this lack of a big is nothing new, man. It's absolutely nothing new. This has been the same thing that they've been dealing with for a long time now. They were able to circumvent that somehow and win that 2022 championship. So there is a way to overcome this, but you have to have everything else go your way. And let me tell you, 15 turnovers is not going to get it done either. Steph, 8 turnovers. And I'm not going to kill Steph for all the turnovers he had today. too much because he was doubled all day long. He was forced into really tough situations trying to make plays. But for the love of God, can we stop throwing one-handed passes? Can we stop trying to push ahead to a Moses Moody when he's completely blanketed by like Kawhi Leonard in transition? That is not a good situation. You are not going to win that matchup. Stop trying to hunt those points. It's dumb, like just straight up dumb. When I see these one-handed passes up the court, trying to push the fast break, I just scream every single time. 2 hands on the ball, throw an overhead or a chest pass. Stop with the one-handed stuff, please, for the love of God. It almost always results in a turnover, and it's never anything positive. With that being said, the Warriors absolutely would not have had a chance to win this one without Steph's 36 points. And it only came on 20 shots from the field. He was 10 of 20 from the floor and 7 of 12 from 3, over 50% from three-point land for Steph. He also made all 9 of his free throws, pitched in 6 assists, but it just wasn't enough to get them over the hump. Jimmy Butler also had his first 30-point game as a Warrior, 12 of 20 from the field and 6 of 9 from the free throw line. That kind of came back to hurt the Warriors a little bit. That those missed free throws, Pods also missed too. If you take away those 5 missed free throws, guess what the Warriors would have done? They would have won this game in regulation. And it's just a bummer that they had all these different ways that they could have solidified this game. If they had rebounded better, if they had made their free throws, this game goes the Warriors' way. You shot 54% from the field, and they shot 45% from three-point range. They took finally less than 43s in a game, which we've been begging them to do these last couple of days because they have been really bad shooting that three-point shot recently. But today, 45% from beyond the arc, not too bad. But again, just not enough size down low. That really hurt the Warriors. And I think, honestly, that's what we're going to be talking about after this one.
This is what you'll be talking about.
And what you'll be talking about is, do the Warriors have enough size to compete in this playoff push, or now in the play-in tournament and into the NBA playoffs? Are the Warriors going to be formidable enough on the interior to stop teams with these really big bodies? We know that the Warriors have always struggled historically with teams that have just a dominant big man. It's the reason they lost to the Lakers in the playoffs a couple years ago. It's a repeated thing that just keeps on happening. And today you saw it in a small microcosm of what happened today with Zubac. It is going to be tough for the Warriors to overcome this, but they got to figure out a way. Before we get on out of here, we got to talk about today's player of the game as well.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
And I hate to do this. I really hate to do this. But we have to give it to a Los Angeles Clipper today because the Warriors didn't lose this game. The Clippers went out and won it. And Kawhi was so good throughout the regulation on this one. Kawhi was absolutely locked in, had just hands in his face all day long, shooting over guys on tightly contested shots. But he doesn't get the player of the game. It goes to a guy that just absolutely just gets under Warriors fans' skin, and he gets under my skin too. So it feels so wrong to do this, man. But we got to give him the acknowledgement when he plays like this. James Harden was awesome today, man. He had 10 assists, 39 points, 7 rebounds, and scored all but one of the Clippers' points in overtime. And so dude was just on fire today. And you hate to see James Harden locked in like this when you're on the other side of it. When you are a Warriors fan, this is the last thing that you want to see. And honestly, Harden has been having this kind of season where he has just been really, really good at doing whatever he needs to do out there. It's tough. It's tough when he's playing like that. And the Warriors just didn't really have an answer for him and Kawhi Leonard today. Harden was just making his shots. He was 5 of 8 from 3, 13 of 23 from the field. So over 50% from both 3-point range and from the floor. It was just too much for the Warriors to handle. Just absolutely too much for the Warriors to handle. Both of those two superstars today having phenomenal games. So the Warriors, they dropped this one. If you had just beat the damn Spurs, then you would be in the playoffs. But it had to come down to this game. It had to go to overtime, right? Just absolutely, like the way that this game was going, just had to go to overtime. And the Warriors end up falling 124 to 119. They'll take on the Memphis Grizzlies on Tuesday at Chase Center in the NBA play-in tournament. Let's hope that they wrap that up with a win so they don't got to keep playing games and tire themselves out heading in to the actual NBA playoffs. I do expect the Warriors to get there one way or another. Thanks so much for tuning in today. That's all the time we got for you guys on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Make sure you tune in on Tuesday as we come to you live after Warriors Grizzlies, as we always do. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.